Hi, I'm Brandon Castile, the lead game designer of Tempest Rising from 3D Realms, and you're listening to the Scene World Podcast.
It's the Scene World Podcast. I'm AJ. That guy over there is Jurg, and
Hello.
this is Nels.
So finally, you got a name.
Yes, indeed. In a minute, we are talking with Ignacio Trelles, down all the way in
From Sarnayer. Yes.
Yes.
From Uruguay.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was gonna say.
And he is working under the publishing of Microprose at Dying Breed.
Okay.
Which
Yes.
Which Brandon Castile mentioned in his interview with us about Tempest Rising.
Yeah.
So we invited Ignacio as well, and he was like, "Yeah, I want to talk to you guys." So, yep.
That's in a minute. Before then, we got a couple of bits of news, I think.
Right.
And a call.
Right. So
not the bird flu, although I did just triple bag a dead snow goose that.
Yeah, I mean,
yard.
There was a swine flu breaking out exactly in the moment in 2009 that I flew to USA.
Yeah.
So I was actually getting a handout from Lufthansa telling passengers how to detect swine flu and where to report it if it happens to you on the flight. I'm like, okay, that's a good start.
Yeah, it was it's lunacy here with this bird flu. Everyone's freaking out about it, and
right.
But again, this morning we had a snow goose, which I've never seen a snow goose around here. That's like like a big white goose. They live in like Greenland and stuff. Just kind of like stumbling around, and they just drop dead.
Wow. Well, it could have been a heart attack as well. What are the chances?
Yes. I mean, he could have been hit by a car as well. Just because they're pretty big, and you might not necessarily see damage if they just get kind of beamed.
Right.
And I live right next to an airport, so we could have gotten.
You mean internal organ failure,
or a broken neck or something? I've seen gooses get their necks broken, and they just kind of stumble around for a bit before they don't die immediately.
Ooh.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so the thing was that at that time, your partner actually worked in the hospital as a nurse, I believe. So I was like in double danger. And interestingly, the week after I returned from the US, we actually got the vaccine in Germany. Wonderful. What a timing.
Yeah.
But luckily, I didn't get sick.
All right. Yeah.
So it's all good.
I'll tell you a story about it when we're done about this.
Ooh.
I want to do
wow. Yeah, sure.
Anyway,
we don't want to talk about death all the time. Woo! Yeah. Anyway, talking about dying game server. Unfortunately, so Warner Bros. Announced that Multiverse, the platformer game, after 1 year of getting out of early access, actually shuts down the servers.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was a short live. But they will switch to peer-to-peer. So you can still play it offline and with your friends online. Well, peer-to-peer.
Right. So you'll be making your own network
server. Exactly. Yes. And the same will happen with Battlecore Arena.
Okay.
Same thing will happen there.
I don't know that one, but okay. Sure.
But it's from Ubisoft Bordeaux, and it's PvP, so player versus player battle, using weapons, abilities, blah blah blah, and you are a battle core, a marble I guess in pinball you would say a ball.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's actually why it's
pinball.
called. That's actually why it's said battle core, because it's the round core that you are battling against. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, yeah. And that also will turn into peer to peer.
Okay. Okay.
So, wow. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, on the
Well, it's
other
good that they're
side,
democratizing the game because a lot of these things, when the servers go down, the game's dead.
right.
So
Right.
giving it over to the users to be able to make their own servers and continue playing it
Yes.
that's a step in the right direction. Because a lot of
Yes.
games from way back in the day are just unplayable because you can't get onto the network anymore.
Right. That's actually true because they have because they have a service running in the background permanently. And the crew too actually received a lot of hate from Ubisoft about that they announced to shut down the servers, though they made the game being playable online, because many games, including the crew and the crew 2, actually have also single player campaigns, but as the games all have the always online requirement, the crew 1, for example, the original crew game, is unplayable because it tries to connect to the server. And we mentioned this in the podcast in an earlier news section last year, that the community is actually working on their own servers. But that is actually the start where Ubisoft said, okay, we will patch out the live service of the crew 2, so you can still play it single player. Because what you have to keep into mind is that the crew and the crew 2 are actually games from the era where you physically bought the media to buy the game. So you have the game data still at home on the optical media, but you can install the game, but you can't play it. That makes it even worse because you have the game there and you can't actually play it despite you have it.
Yeah, right.
And this backslash to Ubisoft changed something into other publishers like Warner Bros. And the Battle Core Arena is also Ubisoft. So there you go, Bordeaux in France. But anyway, so that is why some publishers are like, wait a second, perhaps there's an alternative than just making the game unplayable, which is actually a good move, and I hope it will progress like that, as you said, during this year and the coming years. Yes. Well, on the other hand, we also have news about a returning brand IP, and that would be The Sims 1 and 2 has been re-released by EA. Yes. And patched to be playable under modern operating system, and they call it The Sims and The Sims 2 Legacy Collection.
Okay.
Yes. But here is important to know that no features have been added, or life improvement features, like support for higher resolution or whatsoever. Not really. They just fixed crashes, and they allowed 6:9 aspect ratio. So, and in some cases even make it playable in Windows 11 at all. But apart from that, no improvements.
Okay. Hey, real quick.
Yes, that's my news, by the way.
I got 2 bits of news here, which one is this guy Jim O 9757. He's got a YouTube channel, and that's all I see for him is a YouTube channel. This guy releases a lot of Petsky games, a lot of them for the pet. He's done like Donkey Kong or Petsky Kong, a side scroller, Petsky Brothers, like the old school Mario Brothers where you just one screen bouncing around. Space Invaders 2 for the pet. Choplifter, Pet Lifter rather. A lot of these things they're all in Petsky, so it's it's different. A month ago or so, maybe he released Escape from Petsky Castle, which is a first-person like Wolfenstein looking thing, again in Petsky.
Okay.
A couple of days
For
ago,
the Commodore Pet.
right? A couple of days ago, he put up an 8-bit raycasting engine. It's a video on his channel for the C64. So he's porting that first-person Petsky shooter to the Commodore 64.
Ooh.
And so he put up a demo of that raycasting engine operating. And in the description of the video, which we'll link below, he says, a preview of a raycasting engine for the Commodore 64 to be used in my upcoming C64 game, Escape from Petsky Castle. I previously released first-person shooter games on the Commodore PET, and I'm now working on a version for the C64. So that's interesting to see that. It's pretty quick. Again, it's in Petsky, which will kind of afford you that bit more of freedom to do stuff like that, because when you're working with bitmaps and whatnot, it's a little bit more in depth. Petsky, especially when you're just dealing with, your 8x8 color blocks, moving things around, there's pretty quick ways to do it that can make that workable. I'd be interested to see how it's done, because it looks like there's 3 columns at the right of the screen that aren't used, and 1 at the bottom. It's tough to tell because of how it's cropped. So, yeah, be interesting if he makes that source available. I'd like to see how that works. So we'll put a link to all of that down there. And the other bit of news I've got is that the Fast Loaders, that's a band, I believe.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yes,
from Hungary, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. They've done a lot of covers of C64 games and whatnot. They just started a Kickstarter for a new album called Amiga Rocks Harder. So it's going to be, they're saying it's a triple album, a sequel to their 2020 album Amiga Rocks, that's going to include more than 30 Amiga classics, including Shadow of the Beast, Shadow of the Beast 3, Chambers of Shaolin, Future Wars, Turrican 3, Waxworks, Agony, Nitro, Pinball Dreams, Pinball Fantasy, Pinball Illusions, Another World, Flashback, Apidia, Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge, Blood Money, Fury of the Furries, Double Dragon 2, Z Out, I don't know, wherever you happen to live. Dune, Chuck Rock 2, Budokan, Silkworm, and more. So it's also going to include a 10th anniversary digital art book, Fast Loaders, the story so far. So yeah, that's currently there. That they're looking for. Okay, so this is NOK. I don't know what NOK is, but they're looking for. I'll put it in dollars. They're trying to get $24,877. They're already up to 19,000. So they are, 3/4 of the way there. And they're looking for 280,000 NOK, which is I'll look that up right now. Hang on. NOK is not Nokia. Currency. Thank you. Right. Norwegian krone. There we go. Krona. So they're looking for 280,000, and they've got 218,000. So well on their way. There's 11 days left to go as of the time of this recording. So by the time you hear it, there will probably be less. And if they say here that if they've got a favorite Amiga track you're passionate about that you want them to do, there is a pledge level for that. So
Which is probably one of the higher
I'm looking.
rated ones.
That is 5,500. What did I just say that was? Norwegian krones, krone. How did I say it? Or about a little under $500. So yeah.
I thought they were Hungarian, not Norwegian. Do I remember wrong?
Maybe they are. Maybe I'm saying this wrong.
Oh, they are from Bergen, Norway.
Oh,
Okay.
there you go. That would explain why they're using Norwegian currency.
Mm.
So, and then there's another tier for 10,000 Norwegian krones. That's about $900, where you can get 2 of your favorite Amiga tracks done.
Wow.
So, I think I'd probably find the most complicated Amiga track I could find if I had that kind of money. The most complicated track, the most difficult thing to figure out, and be like, yeah, get that one down. It's got a time signature like a Tool song.
Oh, if it was C64, I would know which one to request.
Yeah, what's that?
Would be Boogaboo the Flea.
Don't
It's one
know
of
that
the
song?
most horrible Sid songs.
Oh boy, and that's
Do you know it?
I don't know that.
Well, it's of the game that had the first cutscene ever by Paco Portalo in Spain.
It's the C64 version?
Yep.
I think I found it. Maybe.
This one.
Yes.
This one. Oh, it's getting worse with time. You shouldn't give up after 10 seconds.
That was the song?
Yeah, it's getting worse after.
Okay, let it go a little bit further. I don't know if anyone can hear this. They don't stick around more than 30 seconds.
I know. Then it's repeating, actually. So. So it's absolutely.
That's rough.
Horrible.
That's rough, yeah. Although I feel like that might be easy to do. This is kind of like a piano. Gotta give them something complicated with like a weird time signature and.
Well, I mean, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
A lot of things from Jeroen are pretty weird.
Yeah. So that's my news. That's what I got. We'll put a link to all that stuff down there.
Awesome. So let's jump to Uruguay and talk about Dying Breed. Ta-cha! So today we have another guest, and today I'm talking to Ignacio Trelles from Sarnayer, and we will be talking about the upcoming RTS game Dying Breed. And you came in the picture because we spoke to Brendan Castile before, who is working on Tempest Rising, and he said, if you want to have an RTS with FMVs
to wishlist
played by real actors, then look into Dying Breed. And you are the person he referred to. So welcome to the show. Glad to have you here.
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me.
Awesome, thanks for coming. I'm very, very happy. Yeah, and I actually also saw the It's Based live stream that where you had an interview. So I learned a bit about the game before, but actually it was suggested to me buy Steam automatically originally when I actually followed Tempest Rising. They were like, similar games you might like, you know? Like,
Oh,
okay, this looks
that's good.
interesting. So I knew about you before, but I was very surprised to learn that you are from Uruguay.
Yes.
And because we never spoke to anybody from that about game development. And also, I might spoil it here because it's really awesome. You actually got as publisher Microprose, which is totally awesome. I must say. I was like, man, he got it right, you know. So yeah. So anyway, we always ask our guests to introduce themselves a bit. So how did you actually get involved into computers and video games, and then how did you actually start your own game studio and development? Perhaps talk a bit about your history.
Well, I got the first thing I got was a Nintendo with Mario game, Mario 1. Then we got Mario 2. It was very hard, Mario 2. Then we got Mario 3. Me, my sister, and my 3 cousins that we live very close between us. Also, my grandmother lived in the same street, you know. I was some houses, and I was into my uncles or my grandmother from mother's side. So that was the first. Then we got the Super Nintendo. I got Mario Kart. We have a neighbor who has the N64, one of the first in Uruguay to have N64. He also have a PC. That's where the first time I touch a PC. We play UFO. UFO is the microprose game, you know, which I recently bought, and I have to go pick up the big box version. I never liked it that much, Nintendo 64, you know. I prefer like side Super Nintendo. And then PC started to arrive in Uruguay. This Nintendo was 1993, something like that. Like Nintendo and the CDs arrived in Uruguay. So once I asked my mother how much did the Nintendo cost, and she was like, it was very, very expensive. But there wasn't like in that era 4 channels in the TV. There was no cable. We gather all the cousins and we play, and it's like it was like a nanny for us, you know. And that era, if you wanted to watch cartoon, it was only Saturday morning and maybe some in the afternoon. It was, I remember, how you say, in that era, Nintendo era, we used to see this English actor, Mr. Bean.
Yeah, of course.
The same era as Mr. Bean, you know. And then I think that some Japanese cartoons start coming to Uruguay. The one they play football and the one with the robots a lot. And then, like in 1997, my father got his first computer. I was 10 years old there. And after the PC, I played, I think it was Age of Empires. I got the Age of Empires 1 original. And then my mother got a PC, they were separated. And then it was like Command & Conquer, Red Alert, Command & Conquer Red Alert, and then Total Annihilation. So my first 4 games were 4 RTS games. Until this day, I keep on playing them, you know. So it's like something stuck into my mind. The perspective, 2.5D perspective. They call it the fake 3D.
That's true. Yeah.
Rendered, everything made like by hand, and it was that. I was very good in sports, but I didn't like it to practice. I liked it to play, but I didn't like to practice, you know. And then it's like Warcraft 3, it was a little bit later, Diablo 2, Baldur's Gate. I remember a lady who sells, how you say, pens and stuff like that. She has like a library, and she used to play games. She lent me Baldur's Gate. I remember also playing Commandos in 1998 in a friend's house. I remember that because it was the France World Cup, Football World Cup at the same moment. And these were like those games from 1997, 1998, year 2000 that I fell in love. And then when 3D games start appearing, I didn't like. I didn't like even Nintendo 64 games. I did like Company of Heroes, but it went like 3 years or 4 years after Warcraft 3 or 5 years after Warcraft 3. Like it was always like that. RTS game and RPG games, you know.
You mentioned that you actually saw on television Japanese cartoon about soccer.
Yes.
Was it perhaps Captain Tsubasa?
We call it Super Campeones here. And it was Oliver Benji Price, Oliver Aton. I don't know the translation, but it was, yes.
Perhaps. Yeah, obviously, I don't know the Spanish name. So
I can check it.
it's not important. I was just thinking like how much cartoons with that theme you have there. But yeah. I was just looking at the English name, to be honest. Yeah.
We didn't have how you say cable, you know. So after cable, I remember going to some family house, really in the north of Uruguay, that were lived in front of Argentina, and they got cable before us, and we have all the Japanese cartoons, and we went there because it was very hot, and all of the afternoon when the elders take the nap, we used to watch TV, and it was the same era. I remember being in that house and designing in my head with paper and a pen an RTS game, you know. It was
so what was it again called in Spanish?
Super Campeones.
Campeones. Okay, they say Oliver.
Yes.
Benji.
Yes.
Could be the same. Yeah. Well, I don't know Spanish, but it's always interesting to see.
It was very, very famous here. Everything about.
Oh yeah, here we go. Super Campeones. Right. Yes. In Latino America. Okay. So it is the same show I was thinking about.
Yes. Okay. It was awesome, you know. And some years ago, like when FIFA downfall, Uruguay was the country per capita to have more players of FIFA. It's like
awesome.
All football games here are very popular. There are even some natives, I would say, Uruguayan football games that are very similar to Sensible Soccer or those from Super Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo World Cup Soccer. Yeah.
The goal, you know. And well, when the PC came, it changed everything. You know, you used to use only one unit, and now you were like a whole army. You have different units. It's like you are like a god. You have to make the economy. You have to place the buildings. You have to have an order. You have to repel the attacks. You have to discover the fog of war. Everything like that. It was different. So after that, it's like it changed. It changed for me. It changed. I used to play like the arcades, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter. I was very good playing Street Fighter. I remember I used to win like 20 match in a row, that my hands start hurting, and then the bigger guys come and punch me to take me out, like they kick me, and it was like while they punch me, I play it, and I won to them, and then they kick me out, and they didn't allow me to play anymore.
That's rough. Okay.
But that was like in Street Fighter. In Mortal Kombat, I was good, and Killer Instinct, I was very, very bad in Killer Instinct, you know. But those games were very popular in the arcades here, and I was I was always good to play games, and it's like I learned fast. My cousin was better than me, but I learned fast, you know, faster than him, and then he practiced a lot, and then he beat me. But so we were like a team. Then after Warcraft 3, Dota, we played a lot of Dota. We played a lot of, actually he went when he was 15 years old to Germany, and he bought me Diablo 2 and Warcraft 3, both original. So I played them in German, and I didn't understand nothing. Then I learned how to change language, stuff like that. To pass, then we changed some CDs. But if you play the Dota inside Warcraft 3, it was in English. No, it wasn't in German. But the campaign, I had to play it in Germany, and it was very, very, very funny hearing the translation of the story. And then we entered like multiplayer in Warcraft. It was like something different. We play Food Wars, we play some Helm's Deep, some mods were very famous. And then Dota start. Then I stopped playing a lot of games, you know. But we start from Dota, we go to LoL, League of Legends. There was some part of WoW, World of Warcraft in the middle, but in illegal, we didn't pay because we didn't have credit cards. It was difficult here. My friends played Mu Online a lot, and Lineage 2. I hated those games. It was horrible. And there are some of them still playing Lineage 2. It's I don't know. Where someday I was working like a salesman. I was a salesman before, and they basically offered me money and told me like, if I give you money, will you be able to make a game? And it was like, okay, yes, I will. Okay. So 1 week after, 2 weeks after, they told me like, I was for real. If you want to make a game, I give you money. And then I have like make a study. I used UFO, my first game, and Xenonauts as a reference. This old game made 20 years ago, something grabbed the idea, the style, make a new game, call it Xenonauts. It's the same game, but it looks different, the story is different. It earns that much amount of money. I thought I still like investigating. I didn't know anything about computer. Actually, I am very, very bad at PC. I call myself a caveman. I am a caveman. It's like I'm good talking. I have good ideas, but I'm very bad at caveman. In everything about technology, I'm very bad.
I mean, hey, what speaks for you is you got the microphone correctly selected. Because that is #1 issue mostly with guests on Skype. They are like, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me?" No, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. So, hey, that speaks for you. It worked. It worked instantly.
It was already installed. I think the Windows 11 IE did it itself.
Perhaps.
Account
Yeah.
was, I don't know.
But here's a question. What was the reason to offer you money for making a game? I mean, there must be a reason behind it, right?
Well, they told me like you always have good ideas. I guess that I am very humble, or I live with. I went to one of the best schools in South America. In 1995 was the best schools in South America, the French school. And it's like I don't care about money, you know. It's like it doesn't mean anything.
Well, at least it pays the bills, right?
Well, yes. Now I learned that I do need money. You know, it is evil, but you need it. And something like money is following me. Like people offer me money. They say, whoa, wait. This started in 2018. I will give you money. 2019, we started. I broke my Achilles tendon that summer. I guess I never took anything for myself, you know, from the budget. It was from paying to other people. One guy has to get obsessed with it. And it's like, okay, this is my last chance to do something to stop being an employee and be my own owner. So my wife got pregnant. So my decision was to resign my job. And I lived like 2 years with the minimum wage possible, like with nothing. I stopped going out. I stopped spending money. I actually haven't bought much clothes since I am 15 years old. I don't care. They have offered me like trips to New York, Switzerland, Milan. It's like, no, thanks. I like to stay here. And I guess to be a nice people all your life, never do nothing bad to anyone. So they gave me the vote of confidence. And I took the opportunity and forward. And well, we got Microprose, like a publisher. We are making a second game now. I do earn a little bit more money, but like all my employees earn more money than me, you know.
But interestingly, in the other interview by It's Based, you actually mentioned that it was a hard and stony way to get Microprose as a publisher. I remember you said you had a lot of publishers that you had been in touch with that promised you heaven,
Yes.
and in the end, they even ghosted you and didn't answer you anymore. And so it wasn't as straightforward as you made it sound right now.
No, but yes, this started in like 7 years ago. No, you know, 5 years ago we started producing. It's like a lot of ups and downs. Again, the publisher part was special. You know, after first demo we got an offer. My associate didn't want it. They wanted more money. It was like, yeah, no, let's work with them. We stopped and they took me out of the decision.
Oh.
Decision fell down, so I got mad and made like a coup d'etat. It's like, okay, now I take the decisions. And the thing is, after we create the Steam page, the publishers start coming to us.
Interesting.
And before, people was saying like, no, you have to to ask more money. You can do it with that. Ask more. And the people who knew in Uruguay were the ones who gave us the worst ideas, or the worst, how you say, it's like they wanted us to fail, you know?
Mm.
Okay,
The worst recommendation.
Exactly. They told the opposite of we, but
Wow.
it's true. And they still doing it to other guys who don't have a share.
Wow.
I have a friend that one guy told him, no, ask $1 million. Never published one game in his life, and the guy who knows in Uruguay tell him, you have to ask $1 million. They won't give you $1 million because you haven't made money in your life, you know, and stuff like that. And I guess like stubborn. But once we created the Steam page and Splattercat, it all changed, you know.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, you mentioned Red Alert at the beginning of the interview, and I noticed actually when I played the demo that one of the demo missions, at least, I think it was the second demo, it actually is indoor. And I was like, wow, this totally feels like Red Alert indoor missions. And there was so much feeling at home. Because unfortunately, as I learned in the Tempest Rising interview, this game won't have any indoor missions. So I was like, yes, indoor missions, yeah. And it's good because compared to original Red Alert, you don't have a timer running down. That's really an advantage.
No.
Because that always pissed me off, you know.
We made the first demo. We got an offer the other day. It fell down, so we make a second demo and we start sending the demos to publisher, you know. At the start, we make like a list of 200 publishers from the A to the C and started A, B, sending the mails. So the mails doesn't reach out. They never reach. They never read them, you know. You have to reach the person via LinkedIn, via elsewhere, and talk directly. I remember a guy from a well-known publisher adding me in Twitter, saying, "Oh, what a great game!" And I added him again. Also, I sent him a message like, "You're saying what a great game," and I sent you an email, and you never answered. So what are you doing? And he was like, "No, which email you send? I send it to this email." And he told me, "Oh no, this email is broken. We don't get anything from this email." And they have that email in the web page, you know. So you directly go to the people in charge, if not the owner. And if you have the Steam page, it is better, you know.
Right. Now I have to ask you, because my first question I asked myself was, aren't you fearing any repercussions from EA because the graphics are so similar and the assets?
We made everything by hand here, you know. It's like everything is new since 2019. We did everything by ourselves.
But you have to admit the style is very, very close to the original Command and Conquer.
Yes, originally was like Command and Conquer, Heroes of Might and Magic, and Commandos. So those were the games that we were, even GTA 1, Grand Theft Auto 1. And those were the games that we looked up to see how to do it. We actually went to make a Command and Conquer because it was hard and it was never done here. And yes, at the start it was more like a Commandos style of game that looks like Command and Conquer 1.
Right.
That it was my first game ever. So we go through that path because I was like thinking, that I was very bored to play always the same campaign of my favorite game every 1 or 2 years, and I wanted to do something similar but with my image. And like 1 or 2 years after I start thinking of Dying Breed, Command & Conquer was announced, the remastered, you know. And
Right,
then
the remastered collection.
yes,
Yeah, true,
was
true.
announcement, and 1 year after it went out. And I was like, oh no, they stole my idea. But it changed everything, you know. The remaster appear and all the old RTS game come back to be like popular. I remember entering this Command & Conquer community mods in, I can't remember the name now. It's not Upper R, no. Forgettable. It was like 200 people in average every day, and after the Command & Conquer Remastered, it jumped to 1,800, something like that, and then stabilizing in 900. So it's like it renew the love from the RTS game, and you know it's like people our age, like reaching 40, a little bit less, a little bit more, who has a PC in the years in the 19 years, mid 19s, and this is going to that fun. You know, I don't want to Chinese kids playing. Oh, if they play, okay, but you know, I'm going to people like me, and it's like all new RTS games were in 3D and multiplayer, and I never really liked multiplayer, but some games, you know. And it was like, you know, I want to do it only single player and like with a story, you know, to sell drama. This will make us different, but it's like start a game from 1995. The idea, the evolution, okay, it came back from the start, you know. And yes,
Right.
it does look like Command & Conquer. The camera also, the angle is a little bit different. If you really look, I remember explaining to the artist, I throw myself to the floor and I told him, imagine you are looking this from the up, and it was like moving like this. And like this is like the units moves in Command & Conquer, you know? And we did that. And at start, we started with our money, you know, and they stole our workers. They start stealing our workers before we have a publisher. After a publisher, they, how you say, it changed everything. But yes, it was a long path. We have like a lot of hate at the start. They told me very mean things, and at first it was, oh, I feeling very bad or the things they were telling me, you know. But then I
Who
started.
was telling you the bad things?
Oh, yeah. Once in 4chan, I made a post in 4chan.
Oh God. Okay. Okay. I mean, it's like you go to Reddit, 4chan, all those places where you have
Yes,
a
yes. And
collective
I went
of
to all
haters.
those places and I tell them, fuck you, I'm going to defend. And they start telling me like, oh, you're base, keyboard warrior. And they start to threaten me and stuff.
Wow.
We're gonna call EA. And I got like threatens.
Wow.
And I
Okay,
entered
that's
like the
right.
their I investigated who were threatening me, you know. And it was
Wow.
like military guys in Twitter with guns, and they look like idiots. But
Wow.
then it changed, you know. After first demo, the people realized that it looked like, but it wasn't like anything. If you separate everything, it
True.
looked actually the units are inspired in Contra game, Super Nintendo Contra.
Right, right.
And
I also noticed you have also zombies,
yes,
uh,
yes.
which is also not a part of Command and Conquer. So you actually added
Yes.
a lot of elements, and I also saw worms and stuff coming
Yeah.
out of the earth and so on. So you actually have a lot of unique elements to the gameplay.
Yes, I think the aesthetics is inspiring Command & Conquer, but I always saw like RTS games like a tree. You have the Age of Empires branch, the Total Annihilation branch, the Command & Conquer branch, the Company of Heroes branch, the Warcraft, you know. Now the Shred, there is a lot of games similar to Warcraft 3. There are a lot of games similar to Company of Heroes, Rattenreich, I don't know, Tesla, how you say, those steampunk RTS game. I don't remember the name now. Iron something. You have Beyond All Reason, it's like Total Annihilation. You have Tempest Rising, a lot of games similar to Command & Conquer. And I guess the most difficult one is Age of Empire, but because it still have like the base, they still playing Age of Empire 1 or 2. But there are a lot, so yes, and Dying Breed, it is in the Command & Conquer branch, you know. It has some elements and stuff from other games, but imagine I didn't knew how to do anything, and we have to learn and make the publicity, advertising, all by ourselves. We did the advertising only to get a publisher, you know, and after we get the publisher, we slow down with the advertising.
I mean, it worked because I found you, so I knew who you are. So it was like
Free advertising. No, we never.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, one of those times where the Steam algorithm actually was useful, you know. It's like, it's interesting. Now let me.
You say that now Steam algorithm it isn't useful.
Well, I mean, you know, usually when you have algorithms like, you know, Facebook, Amazon and so on, like you could like this too. And 90% of all times it's like, oh, come on, seriously? And you say not interested. But in this case, I was like, oh, actually, this looks kind of nifty. Let's look into it, you know. So
I remember a post I made in YouTube, and some guys were telling me like, you beat the YouTube algorithm, you know, it's because I didn't pay anything, and it got like 50,000
views,
impressions, or something like that. And yes, you know, they shadow ban you. If you don't pay to them, they hide you. And I have learned that. Since I started, it changed, you know, YouTube changed, Twitter changed for worth. Reddit was the easiest one to get views. It also changed. They all changed. They lowered the price also. But if you don't pay to them, they shadow ban you. They hide you. Unless you have like something really, really great, a great project that everyone stay, you know. But Dying Breed is like something niche. They say niche. It's like
I mean, what really was a banger for me was actually the theme, the music of the trailer. I was like, wow, this is something.
yes. We
You know,
started making music at the same time we started making art or code, you know. And we have produced 18 songs. We have a new one now. We made like original soundtrack for Good Faction and a different original soundtrack for Evil Faction with different bands. And everyone, like a lot of people, told us that the music is great. I have produced like maybe half of them. Some of them, or some others, they made it alone. Some of them I was there. The ones that have lyrics, I have written the lyrics. And people always told us that they love the music, sell it separate. I want to have it. Even now on YouTube, it is. Yeah, some months that I haven't posted anything, and like from the 6 or 7 most videos, 5 or 6 are songs. And so we started selling songs. We started producing and selling songs to other games. And we are making a page now, to a web page to start selling. Last year, like October, September, I started selling music, and I got 10 clients in 10 days, only showing them 1 or 2 songs we have already made. And this was like, we get overwhelmed, and we couldn't make music to all the 10s. We only make music to 2 of them. And I was making them for free, only for helping my friends, because I want them to live from the music, you know, because I like them. This is, it started with friends and family. Dying Breed was friends and family.
I mean, hey, perhaps it will jumpstart the career of who did the music. I mean, look at people like Frank Klepacki, who became famous by making the Command and Conquer soundtrack. Perhaps you could become famous by the Dying Breed soundtrack. You never know. You know.
I hope I start investigating how much they pay in Europe. You know, they pay like for 1 minute of music in Europe. They pay what I earn in 1 month.
Yeah. I know. Yes.
So that's why, like, we aren't worse than them. We are poorer. We need, if we charge them half, we both will earn. So we went with that idea. And as I told you, I was a salesman before, and I am very frontal, very honest. You know, I told you, I will do this, I do this. I want to do that. I am like that. And now I started again to do it. We made 2 songs, but a lot, it's like, I rejected the money. This year I was earning money. I rejected to another guy, and it takes me a lot of time and the summer. And the page, it isn't ready yet. I want that to work automatically, you know. At the start, you have to put some hours, but we will make it. We thought we were starting on February, like two days ago, but we always get late on those. It is like a separate project or a separate company, how you say. But yes, people ask us the music to put it everywhere, and we will put it everywhere, even in Spotify. You know, as I learned rock and roll from Frank Klepacki. You know, I went from Command and Conquer Frank Klepacki to Reload from Metallica. You know,
Awesome.
Give me Fuel, Give me Fire, and Hell March at the same year, same time. It was 1997. From Spice Girls to Metallica, from Nintendo to PC.
Yeah, Spice Girls.
Yes, Spice Girls.
Interesting.
It was huge here in Uruguay. It was huge. I did have the 2 CDs, original CDs.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I mean, you could sell merchandise before the game is already out, theoretically. Now you mentioned your love for, well, different trees, as you said, of RTS games. Now, can you, I don't know if you can spoil it, but will there be somebody like a special civilian with special skills like Tanya, for example?
Yes, well, in first demo, you use the commando unit. It has
Right.
Yes, and it can explode buildings, similar to the commando from first Command and Conquer, Tiberian Down.
Right.
And then we have like some special inside buildings missions, similar to Demo 3, also with 3 floors. And you have special units. You have 3 hero ladies that are actually, they have actors who play in the intros and outros and the cutscenes, that they are my 2 cousins and my sister. And the commando is my cousin, you know, and the cousin of my cousin for his father's sides. is the general who plays like
The whole
Yeah.
family plays a role there. I see.
Yes, it was also to make it cheaper, because we didn't pay them. It
Right.
was
But you mentioned third demo? On your homepage I only found 2 demos. Did I miss
third
a demo?
demo. It is coming.
It is coming.
It's coming.
Okay. So for the
Now,
foreseeable future, I see.
yes, it is very, very close. It is. We have a demo ready for the RTS Fest, but it wasn't challenging enough, and we
I see.
ended solving some issues we have 1 week before. So it's too close. It was too easy, and now we're preparing another new demo. The first demo with base building, before you
Right.
have base building. Now you have base building.
Yeah, I mean, for the first demo, it was not so easy. I remember like mission failed, commando must not die, and then you try again. General must not die. Oh wait, so like, why? Wait a second. This person must not die. The other person must not die.
Yeah.
Holy crap! Holy crap!
The engineer and the commando can die. Yes, we did the first demo, and it was very difficult, but there were people who were asking more difficulty and others to
Oh
make.
come on! Seriously?
Yes. Hardcore players want it to be more difficult. So in the second demo, after we added the difficult level, So basically, if you play easy, it would be very easy. If you play hard, it could be hard or not, depending of your skill. And the normal is the most difficult one. It could be more closer to the easy or more close to the hard. But now you can pick. But yes, it was we learned about that. It was very difficult, the first demo. And it didn't have load save. So the second demo, we also make it difficult, but it was longer and you could save the mission. So we changed a lot. And between first and second demo, there were like 10,000, we are near 10,000 downloads since 11 October 2021 was the date of the first demo mission. The second demo mission was in January 2023. It go out.
And the upcoming third one will be on Steam?
Yes. It will be the first one on Steam. If we never did, since the announcement of Microprose, we have never make advertising from the game. And it's like we have a little base of fans, actually Command & Conquer 1 fans. Now, I think that we started something, like grabbing a game from the past and do it in the RTS, because they are 20 Command & Conquer Generals clones now. They call it clones, they are clones or not. 20 Command & Conquer Generals alike games are being made at this time. So I was more far away, and we did it on Command & Conquer 1. I would really love to make a Tiberian Sun after.
Yeah.
I really. Yes.
But make it less bug-free than Tiberian Sun, because I remember the problem was, but of course that was 1997, or was it? No, it was 1999 actually. Before I had internet, you couldn't simply download a patch, and I remember it always crashed in mission at the beginning, and
Yes.
so saving or loading didn't really help.
EA fault was that, because they hurried the game, because EA had bought already Westwood, and it was the original. I think it was the last game with the original team without EA touching it.
True.
And then Red Alert 2 popped out. It was very famous, popular, but I think that it had more EA hand in there.
Yes, it was done by a different studio, by a different team, actually. Yeah.
Yes, it was very good. It was very similar to the original, but then they started like deviating. I remember, actually, yes, Tiberian Sun crashed a lot. Not in my house. I don't know why, or the version I had. I remember in that era I couldn't play GTA 3 on my PC. It didn't work. I don't know why. And Command & Conquer Generals, my PC was very old for that era. But I liked the Command & Conquer Generals. I didn't like it as much as Tiberian Sun or Red Alert 1 or Tiberian Down, you know.
Yeah, I mean the FMVs with the actors were missing, and I totally prefer that.
They went from 1 hour of FMV to 20 minutes, something like that. They cut it. They changed it. I don't know what EA is doing. I read the other day that they have in the contract, if they don't make a Command & Conquer game every X years, they lost the how you say, the IP. That's why they make cell phone games or
Right.
I don't know if it's true or false, but I guess they should make a new Command & Conquer game with the original story. Similar
Right.
like Tempest Rising is doing. I think that
Yeah, I mean everybody is saying Tempest Rising is the new hope for all Command and Conquer players.
it is something new. It is something new. It has, like, if you see Command & Conquer games are very simple. They don't have much details. And Tempest Rising has a lot of details.
Right. Yeah, I mean Command and Conquer was so much focusing on the FMVs. The in-game was still VGA resolution. And that was actually remarkable for 1995. Only in Red Alert, in the Red Alert 1996 release, they actually, in the Windows version, they actually added SVGA graphics.
Yes, it was a DOS game at the start, right? Yes, I remember.
Right.
Played like an older version, or yes, a Windows version. But
later on, they corrected that by releasing Command and Conquer Gold Edition, that actually offered an SVGA resolution.
But that was way later, I guess. I think
That's true.
Yes, I also play a lot of Heroes of Might and Magic. I should have named it a lot in that era, 1999, with my cousin. But then I dropped to, when Red Alert 2 came out, I also had Diablo 2. So I went a little bit to Diablo. I was top 200 sorcerers in the world. And I I left a little bit of the RTS game because I didn't like the new ones that were coming. I played a lot of Kohan 2. I don't know, it's a game that no much people know about it. It has some new stuff, interesting. And then I went to Civilization, like a lot of it. Back to microprose games, you know. And I do still play a lot of Civilization 4 and Civilization 5. I will go to Civilization 5 to Civilization 4 and from Civilization 4 to Civilization 5. And this year I did start buying games, but before I always played like old games, and I like old games.
It's actually interesting because microprose is not really known for RTS games. When I hear microprose, I mostly think about, simulation games or soccer games, Micropro Soccer, for example, was a favorite of mine. And as you mentioned, Civilization is another example.
Commander. You remember Match Commander? Match Commander.
Never heard of that.
Oh, let me check. It was Match Commander. It is an RTS.
I that totally passed by me.
Yes, Magic Commander was the one. The guy who did it, he was very famous. He did another game, very famous game before. I can't remember now, but it was you didn't have base building, but it was a really really good game, and I think you should test it. Magic Commander is from 1998.
Okay,
And of
that
course,
totally.
Roller Coaster Tycoon. I have my Tycoon era also. But see, there's always like 2D, 2.5D perspective. You know, all the games I always loved it was like that. And of course, in Uruguay, we play a lot of FIFA, all the FIFA.
Now the question is, what is your opinion about Command and Conquer Renegade?
I did like it when it came out, you know. I remember something that maybe I am wrong, but maybe I am not. It was when EA was grabbing Westwood, and so they, one of the FMV, they film like water in the floor, and the moon reflects in the water in the floor, and the Westwood logo appears or something like that, and then a soldier splash it, and it goes up, and the EA logo appear. It's like some of transition from Westwood to EA,
Yeah.
something weird like that. And I really like it because it was back to Tiberian Down, you know, the structures were from Tiberian Down, but I never liked that much shooter games. As the last shooter I really played a lot was Medal of Honor Allied Assault in 2001, you know. And I think it was like I didn't have the right PC that era when shooters start coming out. So my PC was getting old and I keep on playing old games. I think that was the cause I really don't like shooter games. I now have a strong PC. I could play any shooter I want. I actually bought Helldivers 2. A friend told me bought Helldivers 2, and 2 hours later I was like sending a letter to Steam. Please allow me give back this. I don't like it. Like a friend told me to play it. It's like it is boring for me. I like more managing resources and stuff like that. I don't like much shooters. Also, I wasn't that good in shooter games as I was in RTS games. You know?
And I have to admit, as a player back then, I always found the FMVs very rewarding when you successfully finished a mission because it progressed the story and you
Yeah.
wanted to know what's happening next. So
Yes, and you like make the story in your head, and in the meanwhile you have to test yourself, and you have
exactly.
advance, and it adds something. Yes, it's like drama.
Right.
It's like a
That
movie.
was long before I had internet and long before YouTube. Nowadays, if you are failing at a mission, you can just say, "Oh, I download a save game from the internet that skips this," or I look at YouTube what I'm missing. It's
I,
pretty
I
easy.
I actually did that the other day. It's like how to do this. I needed like a stone in a game, and I didn't knew which was the stone in the game. And it's like, okay, how does stone looks on this game? And I had to Google it. But yes, before we have the magazines, I remember Mortal Kombat on the arcade.
True.
The magazines they came with the action figures. Sometimes the shareware versions. The only Doom I had in my life was only World 1. It was like a shareware version. And Tomb Raider was very famous here also. Need for Speed, you know. It was all
Mm.
shareware version that came in those magazines, PC magazines, stuff like that. and that era was interesting. Now it's like there is a lot of stuff going around. And the other day I saw a meme. It was comparing how to be, I don't know, like a 19th kid and how to be a 2010s kids. And in 19, you see the evolution of the games a lot. And now 10 years ago, it's like maybe a kid only play Fortnite or GTI or Grand Theft Auto all his life, you know. And we like saw the evolution of all the gaming and all different stuff, style of games coming out. And now I don't know, it's so much stuff, but a lot of people are only in some games. It changed the thing. Multiplayer changed everything. I used to love multiplayer games, but now I want more single player games. Like remember those Phantasmagoria games, you know, some stuff like that. I think they will come back. Mix of terror, horror, and single player. No.
You know, I never been a big fan of horror games, except the only game I played in that genre was Alone in the Dark.
Oh,
But apart from that, I'm not really a big horror fan.
I am neither. I hate Alone in the Dark. I remember buying it in Brazil, in PlayStation 1, start playing, got scared, and never more.
Jump scare like that. Thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you.
You mentioned at the beginning you are planning to only do a single player campaign, no multiplayer, no chance.
Making a multiplayer, we had to think it before starting. You know, it was never due to be a multiplayer.
Right.
It can change. You know, we have a lot of success and people start asking multiplayer. Yes, we can do. But at the moment,
multiplayer DLC on Steam.
what?
Multiplayer DLC.
Say yes. I don't know. Skirmish, yes. Playing alone against the
AI.
Yes, but multiplayer, I think it would be very difficult, and it was never the idea, you know. And I don't know how to do it, but no, it's single player, 2 campaigns, good campaigns, evil campaign. Play alone in your house on a weekend, and like
on a weekend.
Yes?
On a weekend.
Yes, on a weekend.
I remember I played weeks on Command & Conquer because in the later missions I had to try it like 6 times. Like holy cow. Yeah.
Yes. After Command & Conquer 1, it is a difficult. Mission 4, Mission 5, they are very, very difficult ones. Yes, same in Tiberian Sun. Tiberian Sun, it is very difficult. Those train mission with the alien spaceship, oh man, pain in the ass. You have to learn it by memory.
Right.
I remember playing a lot.
And in some missions I won because I only had one ship on the sea that could reach an enemy on the ground at land. So I was like, wow, I have one unit left. And with this one unit, I won the mission. That was so amazing.
I remember one red alert mission that you had to bring. You end up without resources, and you have to have a transport boat. Put the harvester inside the transport boat. Go to another island that was full of resources. Pick it up. It's like another task to do while they start standing submarines and attacking your base. It was very hard. And imagine playing that on PlayStation 1 because it was Red Alert was on PlayStation 1. It was yes, it was. They were hard games, you know.
Yeah.
Now you have to do it easy because there are people who want to play like this, and then you have to make it hard also because they want people to play it like very concentrated as it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there is a thread on Steam about Tempest Rising. Please include gamepad support. And somebody asked, "Do you also want aim assist?"
Well,
So
I think that Tempest Rising after the Frost Shine game, how was called the Frost Shine game? This other RTS that the
Oh, yeah. We spoke about it the other day, and I told you what it was, but I totally forgot about it.
I always forget the names of the games.
Uh,
I have it here. There is
you said Chinese RTS, yeah? Stormgate? Stormgate. Yeah, Stormgate.
It was like Stormgate and Tempest Rising were like rivals, and like the RTS fans core, how you say, multiplayer core fans was like these two games are the best one, and Stormgate didn't went well, basically because I think they start asking a lot of money. It was free, but if you want to play more, you have to pay. And then the story wasn't that good. The game works perfectly, you know, but like that. And now all the, how you say, the hope it is placing into Tempest Rise. You know, those multiplayer RTS hope is in there. I think that it will go very well, Tempest Rise.
I'm pretty sure about that as well. Yeah.
Yes.
So will you release it? Will you release your game before or after April?
I think the demo before, yes.
Yeah, but the final game much later in the year, I guess.
Well, I think that the idea is to drop the early access some month after the demo. So we have like at the moment we have like 6 missions from each faction almost ready. We have 3 more from good. The maps already done. We have to end it. Yesterday, a new map designer, started working with us, so we are going faster. There is not much code to work on, or like all the difficult stuff are already done. So sooner we will be all to making maps and testing, all the team. So the idea is to drop the demo 3 and some month later drop the early access.
So around May, perhaps?
Maybe. I don't know.
Now the question is, you mentioned there's not so much code left and so on. So are you using your own engine or are you using something known?
No, we use Unity.
Unity.
Yes,
Okay.
and we make all the missions, we make them via tiled. So if you want, you could make a mission very easily.
That answers the question if you offer mod support.
Everything you have to do it, and it takes time. We want people to take our game and do whatever they want with, and we will help them. And someday we will do it. I don't know how to do it, but we want to. It's like Warcraft 3, from Warcraft 3 and StarCraft 1 multiplayer, a lot of stuff came from there. People love to make their own mods, they learn, they help. And on that part, we are very, very open to allow people to do whatever they want.
Awesome. So let me ask you, because interestingly, that was also the reason what Brendan told me why they don't do real actors FMV. He said it's pretty difficult to do all the filming and all the custom, all the customs, all the clothes and so on. But I mean, how did you resolve that? Do you have a studio somewhere where you actually could record the
we recorded in a studio. We recorded in a studio with actors, directors, sound guy, camera guy, stuff.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
We do it the cheapest possible way, and we did it in 3 days. We recorded everything in 3 days.
Wow, that must have been 3 heavy days from morning till night.
Very, very fun days. It was fun to do it, Yes. Actually, I have like a tons of gigabytes of recordings of the backstage, and the story will be long. It is very, how you say, weird, absurd. It is serious, but it's very absurd. It will be fun. I guess it will be fun. It will add something that other games aren't doing, and I think when you record something, you can change it. If you do it in 3D, you can change it. And if you are a gaming company, you don't know how to make movies, it will be hard for you. I studied movies when I was young, to make movies. So I knew a little bit about it, but we delegate almost everything. But the story, I wrote like 80% of the story, and the other 20% I got some help. It's not hard, but I think in USA it is very expensive, because I learned the cachet of an actor in USA, in Spain, in Argentina, and Uruguay. In USA, the minimum is $200,000. And here in Uruguay, we pay $200.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. If you Michael Byrne is in total, how you say, Tiberian Sun, He's acting in Tiberian Sun. In Red Alert 2, you have the It Clown guy. Those guys, maybe, $200,000 each one. Maybe I'm not telling the truth, but imagine, So, and one, how you say, Tempest Rising employee, I have studied and learned how much they earn on England and Europe and East Coast, West Coast, USA, Germany, how much engineer earns in Germany. And for what one engineers earn in Germany per year, a good engineer, the same amount of money I made Dying Breed. It's like that, One guy in First World is a team of 50 people in South America. And yes, and how you say, we started, we didn't know anything, and we had to start learning
from scratch.
Actually, we have a German engineer. Then he left. We paid like Uruguay, and we couldn't hold it. Now he earns like six times more. It is difficult here, but it can be done. And the start, I didn't trust the Uruguayan devs, but then as I advanced, I started trusting them. It could take more time to do it, but they end up doing it. Maybe with $200,000 a year euros engineer, you do something in 1, 2, or 3 months. And here in Uruguay, we see someone who earns like $12,000 a year, you do it in 4, 6, or 8 months. It is. You can compare Dying Breed and Tempest Rising. Tempest Rising was done with love and all the money in the world, and Dying Breed, it was made with love and almost no money.
Yeah, well, I mean, all the money in the world, I'm not so sure about that. I mean, they switched publishers in between, you know.
I
So
didn't knew that. I saw that there are like a lot of companies working in Tempest Rising, but I truly think that it's a lot of millions dollar budget, you know.
I never asked if it was in the millions, to be honest.
Yes, there
But
are a lot of
I
$1 million.
I can say the original publisher was THQ Nordic, and from what I know, what I heard actually in the press, in the media, was that THQ Nordic set to them um, a release date. They would have to release the game, and they said no, we want still to work on it. So THQ Nordic did let them go. Um, and now they are actually published by Saber Interactive, and then a few weeks ago, Saber Interactive announced that they will have a co-publisher called Knight's Peak. So
I do know that Cyber owns THQ, I think, or something like that, and Embracer Group owned Saber. But then Saber bought itself from Embracer Group. So maybe it happens something like that. But
right,
they're
yeah.
very optimistic about their game, and I think they wait till it was really good. And
I
now
think so too.
Stormgate's flop, they are like the last. There are other good games coming, other good, how you say, high budget RTS game coming.
We'll see about that. We will see about that. So let me ask you, how do you actually go about designing a mission? What is your starting point?
Paper.
Paper.
Yes,
And then the idea just floats onto the paper magically or something.
yes. I could share you some pictures after, I guess, and you could paste it in the edition.
Sure,
It's
sure.
very, we did everything using Tiled. And we have a lot of layers. And then we put the instructions like triggers, patrols, agros inside Tiled. And then that is imported by Unity. You test everything is okay, you have a mission. You could make one mission per day if you want, with like 3 people working 8 hours full time. You could do it, and then you have to test it and something like that. And 1 week it's done. And we are aiming that at the moment, like at the map factory, you know. Before I used to make the maps, I basically do the structures, the division or mountains or rivers. I used to make them entitled, but as I'm not an artist, they look very ugly, you know. Then I gave it to an artist, and the artist make it prettier. But the structure, I made the structure. Yes, basically I made them. And now there are more freedom because I have to delegate more stuff. As we have a publisher, we got bigger, you know. But it is fun, you know. It's like you have like eight kind of missions. Destroy this, protect that, kill everything. Don't let everything kill. How you say, save these people, escape from this. Don't let them escape. It's like you grab all the Command and Conquer games and protect the Red Alert 3 mission from the good guys was protect the convoys, you know.
Right, yes, yes, or survive the next wave or something. And then you had a
Exactly.
timer going down, and the AI tries to destroy your base, and you try to protect yourself
start
from.
without base, you find a base, your base can do soldiers or your base can do vehicles. They will attack you with vehicles. You don't have air defenses, so they will attack you with air. It's like that. They give you, how you say, tanks, so they will attack you with bazooka all the time. They give you soldiers, so the evil guys will attack you with fire tanks, stuff like that. You know, the missions are done like that. You grab some units of the evil sides. The evil sides always will have more tech than you. I mean the enemy. If you are the good guys, the enemy will have more tech than you. If you are the bad guys, the enemy will have more tech than you.
Right.
And it is like that. As it is a single player, it's very different from multiplayer. I think that multiplayer RTS games are impossible to balance. Always someone will find a way to take down all the balance. And it happened in all the games, you know. They call them exploits. Exploits.
Exploits, yeah. Like the famous tank rush attack.
Yes, you have like yes, a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. The Cell Rush,
Or
yeah.
those famous stupid harvesters, Tiberium harvesters.
We do have the stupid harvesters. Today I found like 3 harvesters going around like this. I almost make a video. It's like, why are they doing?
Right.
It were like 4 harvesters trying to go to the same place, and they have an obstacle in the middle. So it was like an obstacle and some substance, some mineral here, them to grab. And it was like, but yes, it was very fun. And actually, fans are asking for a stupid harvester, you know?
Really, yeah.
Those things that make the game like, where is my why I don't have money? Where is my harvester?
Exactly. And yeah, it's I remember because Tiberium at some point was depleted, and then the harvester just stops. But when the Tiberium recrew, it didn't resume collecting. You had to manually put it on the field again. Like, man, in front of you, right there. Don't you see it? You know?
Yeah, those I love those games. Command and Conquer was my all time favorite game. You know, it stuck in my mind. You know, I dream with stuff like that. As I say, when I have 10 years, I designed a game. It was actually more similar to Age of Empires. It was something and I imagined the game in my head. It's like first you have to build your city, walls, defense, and then go to war, you know? It's like those nomad with 15 minutes of ceasefire Age of Empire game, multiplayer, you know? First you build up your defenses and then, okay, and I imagine like that. And I remember it was like the same year I learned about the Magic, the cards games. And it was like with cards and stuff like that. I don't know. I think I was creative with that. I used to invent games with friends. I have 2 games invented with friends, which we still play them.
You mean card games? Yes.
Yeah, something like that, or words game also. Like you sit and you talk and you make like a game only with words. And so I came back to the beginning, you know, and it's good. I changed. I was a salesman before. I was a good salesman. But I have to.
And now you're hopefully a good game developer.
Yeah, I hope I have to be successful first, but yes, I think that I introduce myself inside the industry now, and no one will take me out of here. Also,
no, I don't think so either. One question though, you said at the beginning you will start early access on Steam. What is the reason behind going with early access?
I think that is good for indie companies, indie go early access. I think after demo we will have a lot of feedback from our fans, and sometimes you have to do what the fans say to, or like the feedback of the fans is what how you say, if you have already something in mind and some fans tell you the same thing you have already in mind, you have to do it, you know. Other people, and what, because I promised 50 missions from each faction, and we made intros and outro video from 30 missions. Also and it went like more big, the game went more big than I thought it was going to be. And the early access is, I think, is good for indie developers, and it's like we will keep on working on the game. You know, we won't drop it in Steam and then abandon it. We will keep on working.
Right.
Yes, and it is good, I think, because it's like people like us. You know, you have no much 17 years old guys. You know, like near 40. They know what they want. They want Command and Conquer 1 again, you know. They don't want a modern. Some people, some fans do it, oh, do it like this, do it like that. But it's like, okay, some modern things we could put on Dying Breed, but some others, no. I remember Age of Empire 1, you could only make one peasant or one soldiers at the time. And in the expansion, they added to make more than one. Those stuff, yes, you know. Other stuff, no. If you want to play, it's like a game. Imagine that Uruguay is 30 years behind in technology, and we are nearly entering the 19th in North America and Europe. So we make the game the same way or inspired on how the games were made before. And I think we are the only game that they make this. You know, I have talked with some RTS YouTubers, and there are nearly 300 RTS games being made at this moment. So back to the branch of the tree, you have also the space RTS game. You know, it's like there is a lot of things. It's like it's not new fans coming out. I think that are the old fans coming back to. As I say, I play Dota, I play LOL. I don't play anymore. LOL is it's horrible. It's like never more. I played 2 years. I was very good in League of Legends. I remember when. Oh, sorry, you wanted to say something.
No, I just wanted to say, so you are not targeting the young audience because you said you don't really point the game toward them. As I said, it's mostly for people who know what they want, right? Who have experience in RTS games.
Yes. It's like the Dying Breed tutorial is, have you played Command and Conquer? You know, they are 17 years old players. I have talked. They love the game, but it is very difficult to reach them because you have, I don't know, the other companies going through them and spending a lot of money. You know,
Right.
try to reach them. Dying Breed is shadow banned. Facebook is like, I read from a owner of the group in Facebook saying something like, there are 100,000 people on my server, and every post only reach like 500,000.
Right.
Like people don't allow, and it separates from zones or stuff, makes different groups, and they shadow ban you. So I remember one guy that played demos, loved it, wrote me a letter via Reddit saying that he played the game with his 7 years old son, and that the 7 years old son loved the game so much. What he was loving was seeing his father, like,
Ah,
and the kid go to the class and talk about all the class about this game called Dying Breed. Okay, if that happens, but I have a daughter, and now the kids, I don't think they will be like before. Playing
so
one day.
you trust in word of mouth.
It will be mouth to mouth. It was a mouth to mouth game, I think, yes. Because if not, you have to spend a lot of money. And
Yeah, I mean,
like,
now that we reached the year 2025, there are a lot of discussions how much PC games should generally cost this year. There's one fraction who says they hope that GTA 6 will make $100 the new normal. And I'm like, what? $100 for a game? Holy cow! I don't know. So
it was
it's weird.
owned by Apple guy, Steve Jobs. When you give the power to the advertising guys and not the engineer or the sales team and not the engineers, they
Yeah.
have spent $400 million on games that have flopped, like Concord or something like that. These games with I don't know, very expensive game that no one is playing. No one is playing.
Right.
Throwing out the money.
Well, so I guess I will see how much you will want for the game. Yeah.
Well, I always thought $10. Then it went up to $15. Then it went up to $20. Now I'm thinking more of $15. People tell me like, no, you have to put it expensive and then make a lot of how you say sales. Others tell me like, no, if you put it expensive, no one will buy it.
It depends. It depends, I guess. It depends.
Yeah.
As I'm really much looking forward to Dying Breed because it's really something I'm looking forward to. I wouldn't really mind so much to that. But of course, you're right. When you make it expensive, then of course people will be more hesitant, especially those who didn't plan buying the game in the first place.
Yes, and also you have like other RTS games that are much better than Dying Breed.
I'm not so sure. I mean, look what happened recently. For example, you had Crossfire Legion that they simply stopped updating at some point, and left the skirmish mode broken basically. So you never
But
know. You never know.
that was a big game, right? Crossfire.
That was quite a big game, and but well, it's basically a problem, and that it's basically if it's not reaching the expectation of sales, how could you reason to say we are still putting effort in patching it? That's I don't know. It's pretty
I guess it
difficult.
depends on the company. If it's a big
Right.
company and those employees earns a lot of money and the game
Right.
easy, at the end of time, it's a money thing.
But the thing is, the average gamer on Steam, they don't think in AAA, AA, indie studio, big publisher. They don't think in those things. Every time I watch, I look in the Steam forums for a certain game, and that is only released in English, for example, there will always be somebody complaining. I remember when in December 2023, Rogue City was released, end of 2023. RoboCop Rogue City. People were like, "Why is there only English? Why is there no French or German translation or Spanish or Italian?" And I'm like, "Man, this game is done by a AA studio, not even a big company." And
I think if you start making the game thinking of the translation, it is easier than adding it afterward. And those countries you name it are also the countries that were used to play games in their native language. You know,
right.
That's true. Polish guys are used to play games on German or English. Russian guys are also German or English, because nobody translated games into Russian or I don't know, Turkish, Chinese. Now it's like changing. Everything is changing.
Right.
I really have a lot of fans from Singapore, Malaysia, and Vietnam.
Vietnam. Okay, interesting.
Yes, they even use a different, how you say, alphabet. They're like a hieroglyphic.
That's true. Vietnamese has their own. That's true.
What to do? Yes, I would love to translate all the games. Yeah. Actually, we start the translation with how you say fans that help us. We did translate the Steam page to 10 language also, I guess. And it is, but everything takes time, and time.
Yeah, I mean, you know, my thing is always, since I'm an adult and I learned English nowadays, I'm like, who cares? I understand it anyway. And when I heard that RoboCop is spoken by Peter Weller, the original actor, I was like, wow, that's great, because let's be honest, if you want to have the translation in all those countries as I mentioned, you also need to hire the original voice actors. Because if you don't, then people will be like, why is the voice different from what I remember from the 80s? And in some cases, people are already dead. Yes. It's like, I don't know. It's always like you never can satisfy everybody.
No,
that's the problem.
No, it's impossible.
It's impossible.
You can convert a hater also, because if someone take his time on writing something negative about your game, I always think that it's like they imagine your game as theirs, and they will love to put their ideas inside your game. So you can convert them by answering and telling like, yes, you're right. And I have made this a lot of time before publisher. And it's like, yes, you are right. You are telling the truth and you're right. But this takes time, and times take money, and we're still a small company, We want to do this. You could say this. And also about the only English games, like English is the easiest language ever. It's very easy to learn, very easy to understand. And it is like the world, how you say, diplomacy language at the moment.
The international communication language, yeah. Oh, now you are back. You have been away for a second. Yeah, so the international communication language, yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, we have a lot of fans from USA, Russia, Germany, England. It's like Australia also, Canada. I remember a guy, I showed the stats to a guy, and it was, oh, you are so lucky. Those are all the countries who pay the games expensive. Because I did buy Tempest Rising just now. And when I buy it, it was, oh my God, it's so cheap. It was like it can't be the same that Dying Breed, you know, it can cost the same that Dying Breed. And then I entered SteamDB, and of course, in Uruguay it was half price than in other countries. And
but like, still, it's not that expensive, surprisingly. Yeah, it's not that expensive. You're right. You're right.
I am truly sure that they went the opposite of Stormgate. Stormgate went greedy. We live in Hollywood. We have mansions. They they went even asking money to invest in their company. Ex-Blizzard, creator of this game, blah, 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 blah. It will be free, Kickstart a campaign. You will have all these, then changing. No, you have to pay again. And it was a free game, and now it is a $60 game, something like that, if you buy everything separated. And you can be against your fans, you know. Something went wrong with some. I think it was like this. Oh, we will have the best RTS game in the world because we have the best people in the world. And actually, the game works perfectly. You know, the multiplayer, the late, everything. It is awesome. But there is something in the game that has failed. I can't say what. I can't blame anything. It's a big company, a lot of people deciding, people with the money on the top telling the creator what to do. And I think that Tempest Rising learned about it and they went the opposite. Let's not make fans mad with us. Let's make it cheap from the start. And then we could take like a little bit money from now to 10 years, like, okay, buy this and you will have that. Nothing to make the game easier to beat, because only something like make it beautiful for you, something like that. And I think they went good for them.
Another idea I've always read is like, if you don't have money for the translation, make it a DLC.
Yes.
But now the question is, imagine you are the player, and you are like, why should I pay let's say 15 euros for a DLC to have the game in with Spanish voiceover? Then I guarantee you people will be complaining why it's not part of the game. You know?
Yeah, I am against DLC.
You are against them.
Yes.
Okay.
But I am pro expansion, you know? I saw an interview from one guy from Age of Empires who once said, let's make an expansion. And the guys in the talk was, are you an imbecile? How are you going to do that? Blah, blah, blah. And the guy was, we have already made all the code, all the expensive part. We only change the story, add some art. Okay. Someone listened to him and told him, okay, do the expansion. Age of Empires 1 sold 3 million copies, and expansion, who cost like 10% of the original, sold 1 million copies. And that was a change, you know? Adding language could be free, should be free. Also, it could boost your sales elsewhere. But making an expansion, yes, you could sell the expansion, not at the same price of the original, but yes, I don't know, if the original costs $15, you could sell it $5, and you could have some mission extra, some units, some story.
But now the question is, does it really change so much the sales figures in the long run? Because, for example, if you look at the statistics between 2015 and now, 10 years later, in Colombia, for example, there is a 35 degree in English fluency. And there are more English teachers than ever, more tourism. So that also means that the uprising generation will be more used in consuming English-speaking stuff. So that means the old generation that only speaks Spanish will die out in the end. So it shouldn't, in the long run, in 10 years, I don't know, it shouldn't make such a big of a difference anymore. That's just my opinion.
Yes, yes, it is true with Spanish. Us Spanish speakers are very used to speak in English. Also with Brazilian Portuguese speakers, we used to talk in English. It's easier to talk in English with a guy in Brazil than them talking in Portuguese and us talking in Spanish. But
right.
we have like French players. French players, 80% of French players only play games in French. That's
Okay.
why, because they hate English, because of the war, they are protective with their language. Same happened with Italian or even Spanish from Spain,
That's true. I very often on the internet come across people from Spain who are like, I don't know English. I'm like, man, you are 20. Are you serious? You are 20.
Because Franco, the dictator on
Yeah,
Spain,
I know.
made mandatory to translate by voice every movie, everything to protect the language. There are 800 million people that talk Spanish.
Yeah.
Yes, but it is a thing in English. Even China has 400 million of English speakers. They may speak bad English, but it's the country with most English speaker in the world. So it is complex. I think.
So the short answer is you are not sure yet how you will proceed with that.
I want to translate the game to almost every language possible. It can
So
be done.
you will need to you will have to hire a lot of voiceover artists.
Not voice, only words.
Yeah, but the people that I'm talking about, they want voice actors, not subtitles.
Okay. Okay.
Oh.
Could be done like it was like in the 80s behind the Iron Curtain, that there are some countries that they had only one guy translating.
Exactly. I saw that, yes.
Yes, I could do it.
Yeah, one guy talking every role, and even with the same voice, and was like, "Holy crap, are you serious?" Yeah.
Yes, exactly that. Yes, it could be done. Again, takes time, and we have also like a to-do list. The to-do list.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff going on, and it is always postponed, always postponed.
I mean, just one example. I guess one of the most known kids show in the world is probably the Sesame Street, right? And the Sesame Street, you never heard of that?
I know it, but I never seen it in my life here.
Okay, but the Sesame Street, yeah, that's probably because in Latin American countries it's only shown in pay TV. But anyway, in the Sesame Street, you can YouTube, you look in YouTube. There is a character called the Count, and every time the Count is coming to to the screen, he is always saying, "I am the Count, and I like to count." And being a child from Germany, I always thought, why is there a count on the screen that likes to count? That doesn't make sense. And just when I learned the English original, I learned like, wow, now it makes sense, because count and count, it's a word play. A count who likes to count, But in the translation, this thing is totally lost. Totally.
If you see Alice in Wonderland, the movie,
Yeah.
it has a translation from Spanish from Spain, and another translation from Spanish from Mexico, which is more neutral translation. In the Spanish from Spain, the mother of Alice start talking about Colón and about the discovery of America, you know? And in original English version, they are talking about some guy from England, you know? That's how they protect or they change
Yeah, right.
what it was really. I remember looking Ace Ventura 1.
Mm.
You saw when they found out the cop, the lady cop is actually a man, a tranny. The translation in Spanish was like, how you say, censored.
Ah, okay.
So I never in my life, and that part was also censored. I don't know, the church had more power at that time. I don't know what. So I never understood in my life the end of Ace Ventura 1 till I was like grown up because they censored that part. So
Yeah.
it was different back then. And I guess you're right now, everyone know English. And if you don't know English, you should learn like or Chinese or Portuguese because
Yeah.
of a lot of things.
I don't know. I always thought it's a sign of good education and and being open to the world, and that was just me. You know, I don't know. Perhaps I'm wrong. I know I insulted once somebody from French because I said like English is the most important language, and they're totally pissed. They were totally pissed. I'm like,
Because
okay,
before the diplomatic language was French.
I
After
know, I know,
science language was German. You know,
I know,
it's
I
all
know.
changed to English because it is so easy English. The
Hmm.
English language has 4 times less words than Spanish.
Ah, okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, anyway. So can you tell me, do you have a goal? Is it before Christmas? Will you have the
No,
All right, all right.
we are getting close. You can only know that we are getting close. We
All right.
fixed all the big issues. We fixed them. Now it is like a lot of details, balancing, range of attack, damage, speed of attack, life, HP, speed, movement speed, size of the mass, but all the the structure, or how you say, the engineer is almost done. So we are very close. Remember, we are still a small team. Everyone but one in Dying Breed have more than one shops, so they all work part time. And if they gave me like, how you say, I could do a Dying Breed if with the knowledge I know I have now of everything. I could do it. If I do it again, I would do it like in 2 years, man. You know.
Okay.
And if I had people working 24 all day, it's another thing. But imagine we started working on weekends. I have to go with my car, pick up the guys, bring to my house, working, learning. Then I get them to their house again. Because if I didn't pick them up, they arrive late because we're all kids, you know. Uh, and now, like, I know professional people, hardworking people, but in the end, it's all about money because people like to live nicely. And well, I learn a lot, and I love doing it. We are already making a second game, and we will announce it soon enough. It has nothing to do with Dying Breed or Command Conquerors. Very different. And hopefully we will start designing a third game soon enough. Maybe in a month, maybe in 2 months. And now I'm more like a producer, game designer. Before I was everything, I did everything, and now like more like producer. I have the ideas, I form the team, I get the money, the budget, the publisher. Um, I love this. I love doing this.
For the other two games, will it also be Microprose or a different publisher?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. wait to the release for the release.
Okay.
And I helped 7 games last year to get published. And I didn't ask money to anyone. It was like, I help you. I like your game. I want to help you. Some people I try to help. They didn't believe it, or they went like, I don't know you. It's like, well, no, I like your game. If you want me, I can help you. I got a lot of Uruguayan gets jobs in the exterior. You are a good guy and you are honest and help people, and then they will help you back and stuff like that. And I go forward.
It's a good attitude. It's a good attitude.
I'm not motivated by money. I mean, I want money. I want. I need it. My daughter goes to expensive school. It's like in my family, it's you don't save money on education. It's education. I make my own food. I don't ask for food or go out anymore. And I truly now wants to go out from house. I'm all day in my house alone, and it's very tiring to be alone. And I want to have an office. And if you have an office and have all the workers there, employees, how you say, associate, you go faster, One must continue forward and don't get distracted. I don't know. This is going forward, And
Awesome.
In Microprose, I have told to people to play one working in Postal game. You remember Postal game? One Microprose employee working Postal, another one working in I always Dark Rain. I always forget the name. You remember Dark Rain from Activision? It was an Australian game. Diablo 2, World of Warcraft, and I am there with them. They are local like monsters of the industry, big guys. And I am there with them, and we talk like and it's for me it's incredible. I never, when the old Microprose owner taught me, it was like, okay, yes, you got me. I just want to have next to my name Microprose there, and it's like that. Yes. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm very happy for you. Very glad that you found a publisher that you're happy with, and obviously success. And looking forward to see the game into early access later on. Huh. So where can people find out more about the game?
When?
Where? Where
Oh,
can
where?
people find out more?
Well, I was very active in my Twitter account.
Okay.
I was very active in Reddit. Now I am not that active anymore. And I'm not very active at the moment in internet.
Okay.
We are waiting for the demo 3 to start, again.
So people should have a Steam wish list, I guess.
Yeah, we reached 21,000 wish lists.
Wow. Okay.
Well,
And then
thanks. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for taking the time also. Yeah.
Oh, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.